Hey guys, hi. This is Abhishek, Master Teacher of Physics at Vedantu. कैसे चल रही है आप लोगों की जिंदगी बच्चों? तो yes, today we are gonna solve some very important CBSE 10th नहीं ICSE 10th board questions here. Yes, so we'll be having 20 questions coming from all the chapters of ICSE 10th which has come in the ICSE 10th board examinations. We are going to have a physics marathon the same way how we had it for CBSE 10th and you guys requested कि सर ICSE के लिए भी करना, तो बच्चों हम आ गए, तो ICSE 10th के लिए फिजिक्स का मैराथन हो रहा है अभी के अभी. तो वेलकम टू दिस सेशन गाइस. Welcome to this session. Now what's going to happen is, as I said, there are going to be 20 questions in total and this is going to come from all the chapters. We have divided this entire session into two categories, section A and section B, similar to your paper, where section A category you have 1 mark questions combined together, and section B you have higher long type answer questions which is for 3 and 2 marks or 3 marks, 5 marks in total, something like that, isn't it? So bachcho, this particular session, take this session as solving the board examination. If you're able to solve all the questions today, I'm pretty sure you are at a very good level already, and then the more you prepare, the more you practice, the better you will be above that, है ना? तो आज के जो भी क्वेश्चंस है ICSE 10 के बोर्ड के हैं, तो ऑल दी बेस्ट. ट्राई टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चंस विथ मी एंड गेन मोर एंड मोर कॉन्फिडेंस. And I'm also hoping that all of you guys are at the pink of your health and are not affected by any of the diseases out there right now. So stay safe, people. With that, let's go ahead and start today's session. So, we'll be starting the session with section A, a very simple, category, जहाँ पे एक मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन आते हैं. लेकिन यार एक बात honestly बताऊँ, यार बहुत बड़े क्वेश्चन है यार. तो people be ready. We have 20 questions. And ICSE 10 20 questions. For CBSE 10 marathon I took 1.5 hours. I don't think so that I'll be completing this in 1.5 hours. I'm not sure. So people be ready. Open your notebook and open your pen and be ready. Don't use a calculator. Let's hope that we can see an end to this session in 1 hour or 1.5 hour or not. ठीक है? चलो, all the best. Let's go ahead and enjoy learning physics. ठीक है? तो try solving all the questions and do let me know in the comment section at the end of this session कि कितने लोगों को सही आंसर मिला सारे. Starting with question number 1 right now. So a very simple question, ICSE 10 marathon right now, starting with question number 1, a very simple question to start with. अगर आप इस क्वेश्चन देखोगे, you can see very clearly that this question has been divided into 3 parts and each part carry 1 mark each. So the first question was, specify the relationship between SI and the CGS unit of moment of force, है ना? SI unit of moment of force and CGS unit. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about this fact, है ना? Everyone knows about this fact. So it is nothing but the SI unit, it comes with the formula itself. तो हमें पता है कि मोमेंट ऑफ फोर्स, MOF, मोमेंट ऑफ फोर्स का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है भाई? फॉर्मूला होता है फोर्स इनटू द मोमेंट आर्म, है ना? फोर्स इनटू मोमेंट आर्म, है ना? फोर्स इनटू मोमेंट आर्म. तो फोर्स इज न्यूटन एंड मोमेंट आर्म इज डिस्टेंस, नथिंग बट डिस्टेंस, सो न्यूटन मीटर. न्यूटन मीटर becomes the answer in terms of SI unit. Now we need to convert this into CGS unit. Now that's again very simple. We all know that Newton in terms of CGS is dyne, and 1 Newton is basically 10 power 5 dyne if I'm not wrong, है ना? तो 10 power 5 dyne centimeter square हो जाएगा. We all know the answer for this, है ना? 10 power 5 dyne centimeter square. 1 Newton is basically dyne centimeter if I'm not wrong. एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं इसका आंसर सही है कि नहीं. CGS unit में 10 power 7 dyne centimeter. My mistake. 10 power 7 dyne. Oh yes. One small mistake here. That is 1 Newton is basically 10 power 5 dyne. And 1 meter is basically 10 power 2 centimeter. So 1 Newton meter would be equal to 10 power 7 dyne centimeter. Yes, correct. I hope that all of you guys got it. I got a bit confused right there. It's okay. So thank you so much. I hope you guys got this answer. Moving to the second part. Again, a very simple question. State the condition when on applying a force, the body has translational motion and the body has rotational motion. है ना? Now thinking about this, a very easy question. क्योंकि अगर हम सोचेंगे, if an object is not fixed to any part of the body, object is not fixed at all at any particular point, the object will be having a translational motion. For example, our hand here, our hand is fixed at our shoulders. So my hand, this entire length can have a translational motion, and can have a translational motion. But if I ask about my shoulder, can my shoulder has a translational motion? I don't think so. I have to move myself for the shoulder to move. But my shoulder can have a rotational motion because it is pivoted at a point, it is fixed at a point, है ना? So a similar example would be the wheels of a car. A wheel, until unless it is fixed to the car, इट कैन हैव अ लॉट ऑफ सॉर्ट ऑफ ट्रांसलेशन मोशन, रोटेशनल मोशन, आप उसको सरका के भी ले सकते हो, धक्का देके भी ले सकते हो, कुछ भी कर सकते हो, है ना. बट द मोमेंट इट इज फिक्स टू द कार, इट कैन ओनली हैव अ रोटेशनल मोशन, इट कैन नॉट हैव ट्रांसलेशन मोशन एट ऑल, इजंट इट? So yes, that's the basic understanding. So I hope all of you guys got it. You can add any type of answers you wanted. This was just the first question. Going ahead to the second question, I'm pretty sure all of you guys were able to answer this question right. Question number 2, pretty easy one again. A very common question is ICSE. Which of the two prisms, A made of crown glass and B made of flint glass, deviates a ray of light more? तो भाई इसके पीछे का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है? हम सब जानते हैं इसके पीछे कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है. सब क्या है कॉन्सेप्ट बताओ. एवरीवन हियर कैन पुट डाउन इन द चैट राइट नाउ व्हाट इज द concept behind this. It's a two-word concept. Everyone knows that. What is a two-word concept? Put down in the chat right now. I know this session is not live, so but I'll be coming back to check out in the premiere video कि कितने बच्चे chat में answer दे रहे हैं. I'll be coming back there. So let me know guys, what is the two-word answer for this question with which we can get the answer for this. Come on, let's go. I'm hoping that everyone's giving the answer right now in the chat and the answer comes out to be pretty simple. अरे भाई इसका नाम है RI, यानी कि रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स, है ना. जिस पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स ज्यादा होगा, द मटेरियल विच हैज मोर रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स विल डिविएट द लाइट मोर. Refractive index is the measurement or it is the degree itself which tells us ki how much the light has slowed down or how much has the light bent. Simple as that, right? So if I talk about crown glass or a flint glass, see A made of crown glass and B made of flint glass, which one of them is more does have higher refractive index? So when I talk about the crown glass, I'm pretty sure the crown glass has a refractive index of 1.52 and the flint glass has a refractive index of 1.62, है ना. Approximately 1.5 to 1.62, they can vary from 1.5 to 1.64. दोनों का वेरिएशन 1.5 से 1.64 हो सकता है, depends on the optical density. But 1.52 will go for crown glass and 1.62 will go for flint glass. So it gives us a very clear understanding that flint glass has more refractive index than crown glass. Hence, the light will deviate more in prism B because it is made up of flint glass. Clear? So that reason you need to write down there. सिर्फ लिख दोगे कि अरे लगता है कि मीडियम बी फ्लिंट ग्लास में होना चाहिए, लगता है नहीं, रीजन लिखना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. सेकंड पार्ट, गिव वन यूज ऑफ IR रेडिएशंस. मेनी यूजेस आर देयर. थेरेपेटिक यूजेस, राइट. वेदर फोरकास्टिंग, lot of uses, you know that. I'm not getting there, you know that the answer. So let's check the answer. Basically flint glass है तो B as compared to prism, the light deviates more prism B as compared to prism A because flint glass has higher refractive index than crown glass. Correct? Sorted. Moving to the third part right now. सेक्शन ए के क्वेश्चन काफी इजी लग रहे हैं ना. हाँ भाई, सबको ये दो क्वेश्चन आया बराबर एकदम. चलो बहुत बढ़िया. इफ इन केस यू गेटिंग द राइट आंसर फॉर द फर्स्ट टू क्वेश्चन, सुपर्ब. वेरी वेरी कॉमन क्वेश्चंस इन ICSE 10. लेट्स लुक इनटू द थर्ड क्वेश्चन राइट अवे. ठीक है. ऑल द बेस्ट. On mountains in summer, the snow melts very slowly. Give reasons. Think about this. Why does the snow melt so slowly in summer in the mountain regions? Give reasons. क्योंकि according to us, अगर धूप पड़ गई आइस में, वो मेल्ट हो जाना चाहिए. इतना ज्यादा प्यार है सूरज और स्नो में, है ना. में ऐसा नहीं होता है ना. We all have studied something called as latent heat. The snow melts slowly because firstly the snow takes heat to change its state from ice to water in the liquid format, isn't it? तो वो एक्स्ट्रा टाइम हो जाता है जब वो चेंज ऑफ स्टेट के फॉर्म में होता है कि नहीं. आफ्टर दैट ओनली basically the entire ice melts into liquid. So that change of state takes place. There is a latent heat as well as the heat for raising the temperature of the liquid as well as ice, है ना. इसको दूसरे टर्म से बोले, not all the ice is already at 0 degree Celsius. Not all the ice is already at 0 degree Celsius. The snow might be forming at -10, -5, -8, -15, -20. तो -20 से लेके पहले 0 पे आना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद उसका स्टेट चेंज होगा, तो इतना ड्यूरेशन तो लगेगा भाई. Next part, a substance undergoes change in its temperature. What happens to it? So when a substance undergoes change in temperature, I'm pretty sure all of us know about it. The particles inside this substance go crazy. मतलब वो हो जाते हैं पागल. किसकी तरह? हमारी तरह. वो हो जाते हैं पागल. The moment the temperature changes, everyone instead of going na 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 na, it start going na 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 na. क्यों भाई? टेम्परेचर दे दिया आपने हीट प्रोवाइड कर दिया पार्टिकल्स को. जैसे आपने हीट प्रोवाइड कर दिया पार्टिकल्स को, उनकी काइनेटिक एनर्जी बढ़ गई, है ना. काइनेटिक एनर्जी बढ़ जाती है तो वो ठहलका मचा देते हैं. जैसे भी एग्जामिनेशन के दौरान आप यहाँ वहाँ घूम रहे हो, पहले तो नॉर्मली बैठे रहते थे, अब तो यहाँ घूम रहे है ना, तो हाँ ये हो जाता है. नेक्स्ट मूव द सेकंड पार्ट. अ चेंज इन इट्स स्टेट विदाउट चेंज इन टेम्परेचर. A change in its state without change in temperature. This time, the heat is absorbed by the material, not to increase its temperature, but to change the potential or the internal energy of the system, consuming it to change the state, not to change the thermal properties, not to change the speed of the molecules here. Isn't that's all. यहाँ पे पागलबंदी नहीं होती है, इस सिनेरियो में पागलबंदी नहीं होती है. इस सिनेरियो में बदलाव आता है, रेवोल्यूशन होती है, एवोल्यूशन होती है, सारे इल्यूशंस होती है यहाँ पे, है ना. Okay, I hope you guys got that point also. Very simple questions. Giving reasoning type in ICC 10th is very common sort, very common sort of questions. आपको पता ही होगा, आप लोगों ने बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत की है. You must have solved a lot of questions already, so you already know it, isn't it? Let's go forward for the question number 4 and let's see can we do that or not. A convex lens forms an image of an object equal to the size of the object. Do I need to read the question after that? Because I and you clearly know if the convex lens is forming the image equal to size of the object, where should be the object placed? You know the answer, isn't it? That would be, I'm pretty sure all of you guys are answering me the question right now on the chat. क्या होगा भाई इसका, जल्दी बताओ. ये हो गया F1, ये हो गया 2F1, ये हो गया F2 और भाई ये हो गया 2F2. तो भाई बताओ जल्दी से कि ऑब्जेक्ट कहां होना चाहिए. इसके ऊपर होना चाहिए, ऑप्टिकल सेंटर के ऊपर होना चाहिए, कहां होना चाहिए ऑब्जेक्ट, जल्दी बताओ. हाँ, आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यू ऑल आर आंसरिंग विद द राइट आंसर. यहाँ करेक्ट, इट मस्ट बी ऑन 2F1 सो दैट द इमेज इज फॉर्म्ड ऑन 2F2 like this. Hopefully my diagram is correct. Almost there. Without scale. You see that? Picasso only. Oh my god, this is so bad. This is so bad, people. What is this? What is this? No diagram skills only you guys have. Wait. Better? Like क्या पढ़ा रहे हो? डायग्राम बनाने आता है? एग्जाम कैसे पास हुआ आपने? ठीक है, तो बच्चों ये डायग्राम बनाएंगे तो आपको मिलेगा अंडा, क्योंकि आपने डायरेक्शन नहीं दिखाया. डायरेक्शन दिखाना काफी जरूरी है लाइट रेस का, वरना आपको मिलेगा बड़ा से डिजाइन वाला. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट पार्ट. सो दैट वुड गिव यू 2 marks and draw a diagram to illustrate. Oh, this diagram is going to give you 2 marks. Damn. तो फिर थोड़ा और रेस्पेक्ट देते, इसको थोड़ा और लेबल कर देते. A dash B dash H dash, height of the image, U V F. इससे ज्यादा नहीं लिखूंगा. ये 2 मार्क्स मिलने हैं. ठीक है, 2 मार्क्स दे रहा था इसलिए मैंने इतना कुछ किया, वरना मैं इतनी मेहनत नहीं करता. आप भी नहीं करते ना, पता है. ओके, नेक्स्ट पार्ट. कैन एब्सोल्यूट रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स ऑफ अ मीडियम बी लेस देन 1? इफ नॉट, व्हाई? बिकॉज एब्सोल्यूट रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स इज माई ब्रा, है ना. तो एब्सोल्यूट रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स इज इक्वल टू C by V. दिस माई ब्रो राइट हियर. Refractive index, the formula is C by V, where C is the speed of light and V is the speed of light in a medium. Now, speed of light in any medium can never be greater than the speed of light in vacuum, isn't it? तो भाई आपका जो डिनोमिनेटर है dino is always lesser than numu. Dino is always lesser than numu. Cannot happen. Numerator is always greater than the denominator, hence the value here will might be equal to. हाँ, ये हो सकता है कि भाई जैसे speed of light in vacuum, the light is passing from vacuum to air, so the refractivity is almost equal to each other for both of them, isn't it? Speed of light is almost equal, so I can say okay, it might be equal but can never be greater. Correct. So denominator is always lesser than numerator, so hence refractive index value, absolute refractive index value can never be lesser than 1. Got it? Okay, next write it down. Now if the question was for relative refractive index, then it would not be different, isn't it? अगर वो डेंसर से रेयर जा रहा है तो रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स ज्यादा होगा, अगर वो रेयर से डेंसर जा रही है तो रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स कम होगी, ये आपको पता होना चाहिए ना. रिलेटिव रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स में ये सेम सिनेरियो नहीं होता है, तो लुक आउट फॉर दिस वर्ड. व्हिच रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स आर दे टॉकिंग अबाउट, रिलेटिव और एब्सोल्यूट? थिंक अबाउट दैट. ठीक है, मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट वन. राइट द फैक्टर्स अफेक्टिंग क्रिटिकल एंगल फॉर अ पेयर ऑफ मीडिया. फॉर अ पेयर ऑफ मीडिया, क्रिटिकल एंगल डिपेंड्स ऑन द रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स ऑफ द मीडियम, है ना, एंड द टेम्परेचर ऑफ द मीडियम. दैट दीज आर द टू थिंग्स ऑन विच द क्रिटिकल एंगल ऑफ थिंग डिपेंड्स, है ना, सिंपल. सो आई होप ऑल ऑफ यू गाइस नो अबाउट दैट. So question number 4, a very good question, I would say. A total of 4 marks came in this. A very good question, I would say. Very common one and very good question. A lot conceptual, especially the second part. I love the second part. It's a very, very conceptual question. Other two were direct. Let's move on to the 5th question. Oh, I love this. I literally love this question right here. Let us talk about it. Define the term efficiency of a machine. What is efficiency of a machine? इन वेरी जनरल टर्म्स, जितना काम आप कर रहे हो और मशीन आपको जितना वापस दे रहा है, दैट्स एफिशिएंसी, है ना. द इनपुट वर्क, हाउ मच वर्क यू डू ऑन द मशीन एंड हाउ मच डज द machine give you back. So if I put down in mathematically, the answer would, if I put it mathematically, it will come out to be, it is the ratio of the useful work done by the machine to the work put into the machine by an effort, है ना. That is basically me. जितना मशीन मुझे दे रहा है, रेशियो, अगर मैं रेशियो निकालूंगा, दैट वुड बी एसेंशियली आउटपुट वर्क, है ना, आउटपुट वर्क डिवाइडेड बाय द इनपुट वर्क. दैट वुड बी माय efficiency, which is denoted by eta. Correct? That would be my efficiency. Now there are a lot of questions which comes from efficiency itself, that can a machine's efficiency be greater than 1? Do you know about that? Can the efficiency be greater than the 1? I'm pretty sure you know the answer. It cannot be, है ना. It cannot be, never be greater than 1, obviously, because हमेशा या तो आउटपुट वर्क और इनपुट वर्क इक्वल होंगे. दैट्स एन आइडियल मशीन, जहां पे कोई लॉस ही नहीं है, जितना आप काम करवा रहे हो उतना काम मशीन दे भी रहा है, तो वो आइडियल मशीन हो गई, है ना. बट देयर आर नो आइडियल मशीन एग्जिस्टिंग इन द नेचर. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, एवरी सिंगल टाइम द इनपुट वर्क इज ऑलवेज मोर देन द आउटपुट वर्क. सो डिनोमिनेटर इन दिस सिनेरियो सिमिलर टू द रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स, exactly opposite to the refractive index, denominator is always greater than the numerator. So efficiency can never be greater than 1 for sure. It will be always lesser than 1, and in ideal case it will be equal to 1. So yes, that's a question which could also come as a spin-off of that particular question. Okay, next part. Name a machine which can be used to change the direction of force supplies. A very important question, guys. A very, very important question, guys. A lot of questions similar to this can come. Name a device which can be used to increase the speed of the the force applied. The similar type key, increase the force itself, increases the effort itself which you have applied. So a lot of things come up similar to that. You know about it, isn't it? So name a machine which can be used to change the direction of force applied would be a pulley. You know that. You are trying to pull down the rope downward, but the effort there is applied upward, है ना. Simple as that. Good job, people. I know you know the answer for that. So first and second done. Let's go into the third part. Define a lever. A lever is a very simple machine which can rotate about a particular axis or a point, which I'm pretty sure you know. For the example, the seesaw. अगर मैं seesaw की बात करूं, seesaw has a fulcrum at the center about which this entire lever can rotate, है ना. So that is basically a lever. Now the question comes, classify the following into levers as class 2 and class 3, class 1, class 2 and class 3. Claw hammer. When I talk about a claw hammer, let me show you the diagram for this. So class 1 levers are those, class 1 levers are those which I'm pretty sure you know, where the fulcrum is at the center. Class 2 where the load is at the center. Class 3 where the effort is at the center. बाकी दोनों कहीं भी डाल दो आप. तो मैं इसको कैसे लिखता था, FLE, flea. This is how I remembered it. You can also remember it as ELF, 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 but we are starting from class 3, class 2, class 1 in that case. If I write down ELF, if I remember it as ELF, I can either remember it as flea, which would be in the order fulcrum, load, effort at the center, or I can remember it as ELF, ELF, F, the normal elf which you must have seen in the Lord of the Rings movie, or the normal elves which you know as a mythical creature right there, है ना. So yeah, where you have effort, load and fulcrum at the centers. It's absolutely on you. So now we need to realize that we have two objects here, claw hammer and bar to lift load. What kind of levers are they? Claw hammer is pretty simple. Claw hammer में आपका fulcrum center पे ही होता है ना. Claw hammer for example, ये मेरा nail है, इसको मुझे यहाँ से निकालना है. So this is my effort, the claw is the nail is the load, and you can see at the center is my fulcrum. You can see very clearly, if this is the nail here, I'm keeping my fulcrum on the remote here, and this my effort. So I can see taking the nail out, my fulcrum is at the center. So obviously claw hammer becomes a class 1 lever. और class 3 की बात करेंगे तो क्या होगा? Bar to lift the load, bar to lift the load, a bar to lift the load. क्या है सेंटर वहां पे? सेंटर में क्या है? ऑब्वियसली फुलक्रम तो नहीं है, ऑब्वियसली सेंटर में फुलक्रम नहीं है. क्या है? आपका लोड है सेंटर में, है ना? आपका लोड है सेंटर में. द बार, द फुलक्रम, द लोड इट्सेल्फ इन द अ बार व्हिच इज लिफ्टिंग द लोड इज एट द सेंटर और फुलक्रम उसके बाद आती है कि नहीं? आप जब भी कोई चीज को उठाने की कोशिश करते हैं, देखो यहां पे मेरा फुलक्रम है, उसके बाद उसको ऐसे उठाता हूं मैं, राइट? सिंपल एज दैट. सो दैट्स हाउ यू क्लासिफाई. इट्स जस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ इमेजिनेशन इन योर माइंड. अब इमेजिन कर पा रहे हो सारी चीजों को? अगर कभी ना कभी पिक्चर में देखा हुआ है या तो एक जनरल सेंस है, तो ये सारी क्वेश्चन आप इजीली आंसर कर दोगे. ठीक है. वन मोर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग व्हिच आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू गाइस इज दीज क्वेश्चंस ना कम फ्रॉम द सेलिना लॉट. सेलिना में आपको लॉट ऑफ डायग्राम्स दिए गए हैं, क्लास 1 के एग्जांपल्स, क्लास 2 के एग्जांपल्स, क्लास 3 के एग्जांपल्स. उन एग्जांपल्स को एक बार ध्यान से देख लेना, उन्हीं में से मोस्टली क्वेश्चंस आते हैं और ये दोनों चीज वहां पे है भी. ठीक है, चलो अब आगे बढ़ते हैं बच्चों. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. माय फेवरेट टॉपिक, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. ओके, इसमें तो मचाएंगे हम. तो अभी तक हमने कर लिया मशीन्स का पार्ट, हमने कर लिया फोर्सेस के पार्ट, हमने कर लिए लॉट ऑफ अदर थिंग्स, लीवर्स, पुलिस, बहुत सारी चीज कर लिया. ओके, अब चलो इसके बारे में देखते हैं. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन, वेरी इजी वन. इफ अ करंट ऑफ 0.15 एम्पियर्स flows through a wire for 60 seconds across 2 points having potential difference 15 volt. क्वेश्चन ज्यादा लंबा हो रहा है. ऐसे क्वेश्चन पढ़ता हूं मैं, इतने लंबे लंबे मेरे दिमाग से उड़ जाती है. तो मैं क्या करता हूं? डायग्राम बनाता हूं. तो डायग्राम बनाते हैं यार, इंजॉय करते हैं, फिजिक्स को इंजॉय करते हैं, इमेजिन करते हैं, सॉल्व नहीं करते, इमेजिन करते हैं. ठीक है, चलो. इफ अ करंट ऑफ 0.15 एम्पियर्स फ्लोज थ्रू अ वायर. अच्छा ठीक है भाई, एक वायर है, मान लिया वायर ए बी है, इसके थ्रू एक करंट फ्लो हो रही है 0.15 एम्पियर्स की. कितने सेकंड्स में? थ्रू अ वायर फॉर 60 सेकंड्स अक्रॉस 2 पॉइंट्स हैविंग पोटेंशियल. अच्छा, इन दोनों के बीच का पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस दिया हुआ है 15 वोल्ट. ठीक है, इन दोनों के बीच का पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस दिया हुआ है 15 वोल्ट. और टोटल टाइम फॉर द करंट टू रीच टेक फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर, टोटल टाइम कितना हो गया? 60 सेकंड्स. 1 मिनट लग गया. It took 1 minute for my current to reach from point A to point S. Damn slow, buddy. Damn slow. What's up? Even people here will take a jump and reach 0.15 ampere. What is this? Okay. Then calculate the amount of charge that flows through the circuit. मजा किरकिरा हो गया. क्वेश्चन काफी इजी हो गया. काफी इजी क्वेश्चन है ना. Come on, we know the given things. I, V, T. If I know I and T, obviously I can find out the charge, amount of charge, because current's formula is I is equal to Q upon T. Q तो दिया हुआ है भाई, I into T. I है, T भी है, तो I कितना है? 0.15 into 60. तो Q कितना हो गया? Q हो गया 1.5 into 6. What is 15 into 6? 15 into 6 यार ऐसा क्यों करते हैं मेरे साथ? 7.5, right? I'm very bad in mathematics, guys, so forgive me for that. Very bad in mathematics. 15 into 6. 15 3 is 45. 15 6 90. 9 coulombs. I was gonna write 7.5. You saw that? So weak in mathematics. So weak. Bad boy Abhishek. Okay, so we did the first part. Let's go for the second part. The amount of work done. Come on. Amount of work done, W is equal to V into Q. Again, a very simple formula coming from the potential difference formula. Sorry, electric potential formula, which is work done by charge, which gives us work done is equal to potential into charge. Potential is given as 15, and the charge we just found out as 9. 15 into 9 now. Hey, this is easy. 15 into 9 is 135, if I'm not wrong. 135, no? 15 times are 150 only, no? Why am I so bad at this? Okay, 135 joules. I'm going to take that. 9 5s are 45, 4 carry, yes, 135 joules, got it. Any other thing answers? Sorted, right? Yes. So absolutely an easy question, people. You can absolutely do this. It's a very easy question. 1 mark you'll get for this, 1 mark you'll get for this. The 2 marks in total. Do not forget to write down the given things. Do not forget to write down the, to find. Do not, when you draw a diagram like that, even the examiner is so happy thinking that you understood the question and then did it. So it always gives you a sort of grace marks. Try doing that. Take it. Understand, enjoy physics doing that. Okay. Next one. Let's check it out. चलो ये रहा 1 मार्क का क्वेश्चन, आपके सामने 1 मार्क क्वेश्चन है. स्टेट द कंडीशन व्हेन द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ फोर्स ऑन अ करंट कैरिंग कंडक्टर प्लेस्ड इन मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इज 0 एंड मैक्सिमम. वी आर वेल अवेयर अबाउट दैट, isn't it? If you have a magnetic field like this is the magnetic field, this is the magnetic field. If you have the conductor like that is basically the length of the conductor is parallel to the magnetic field, that's when you have the force 0, है ना? Because what is the formula for magnetic force? Magnetic force formula is BIL sin theta. Correct? Where B is the magnetic field, I is the current, L is the length of the conductor, and sin theta, what is theta? Theta is the angle between the conductor and the magnetic field. Theta is the angle between the conductor and the magnetic field. So if the conductor and magnetic field are parallel, theta is 0. If theta equal to 0, magnetic force would be 0 because sin 0 is 0. Correct? That's one. Now when will we having the maximum? Obviously now it is common sense. If sin 0 has the minimum value, for which value of sin the sin value is maximum? Which value of theta the sin value is maximum? Obviously 90 degrees. Absolutely yes, people. Absolutely yes. You got that right. So now if I have the magnetic field like that, this is my magnetic field B, and now if I have my conductor which is perpendicular to the magnetic field, you see the length, it is perpendicular 90 degrees. So theta is equal to 90. When theta is 90, sin 90 is 1. You will have the magnetic force as BIL, the maximum value of magnetic force. Now you don't have to explain all these in things because it's just for 1 mark. You don't have to explain all this. I just explained to make you guys understand. So the very easiest answer is magnetic field will be 0 when the conductor is parallel to the magnetic field, and the magnetic field will be maximum. Magnetic force will be maximum when the conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field. And you can draw these 2 diagrams and write down that formula. That is again lot. Just draw the diagram and leave it. It's okay. 1 mark. Second part. State the function of step down transformer. The function of a step down transformer is to, wait, I don't know this. Oh wait, let me just read the word again. Step down transformer. It should step down something. It's a transformer. So what should it be stepping down? Transformer. No. It should be stepping down Abhishek. No. It should be stepping down voltage. And if voltage is stepping down, something else should increase. What? Current. Oh yeah. That's the function of a step down transformer. है ना? Done. Na. 7 questions done, 7 questions done. Too tiring. Why are the ICC questions so big? By this time I would have completed CBSE. Just not a compliment to CBSE people, but not a compliment to ICC as well. Okay, people. So people who have been doing these 7 questions with me and they got all of that right, give me a high five. Well done, people. You have been doing it amazingly well. Keep doing that. Let's go forward for the next question right now. Oh, super easy. Very easy question right here. Okay, let's see. ठीक है, देखो तो ध्यान से देखो इसको. A marble at the bottom. में डायग्राम बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये डायग्राम अगर मेरे को बनाना पड़ता है ना भाई, मैं छोड़ देता है जॉब. मजाक करो आप लोगों के लिए कुछ भी. Okay, so you have the entire beaker here in which there is water put in. Now they are saying there is a marble at the end of this, the bottom of this particular beaker or the bucket, balti, tub, tank, patal, जो भी है, ठीक है. There's a marble at the bottom, ठीक है. The depth of this the depth of this bucket is basically 0.2 meters. That's the real depth. Now, obviously, due to refraction, we'll be not be looking at the actual marble. We'll be looking at the apparent position of the marble or the apparent image of the marble, which is at a height of 0.04 meters from the top. So, from top, this height is 0.2. From top, this height is 0.04 meter. Okay. Now, we need to find out what is the refractive index of this water. So, there's a straightforward formula of refractive index connecting the real depth and the apparent depth. You know, it's real depth upon apparent depth. पता है ना मैं? Real depth upon apparent depth. ये शायद आपने 9th में पढ़ा होगा मेरे ख्याल से, है ना? तो what is the real depth? Real depth of this marble from the top is 0.2 meters. Sorted. Now, what is the apparent depth? Apparent depth is 0.04 meters. है ना? नहीं. Come on, people. This is not the depth of this. You need what is apparent position? What is the apparent position? What is apparent depth? Apparent depth is essentially what is the distance? What is the distance of this image formed, or what is the distance of where we see the image of the marble from the real depth? How much is that? Is what we need to find out. है ना? तो कितना होगा? अगर ये 2 मीटर है और ये 0.04 मीटर है, तो ये डिस्टेंस क्या है? ये डिस्टेंस क्या है? ये होगा आपका पेरेंट पोजीशन. कितना हो गया ये? क्योंकि मेरे लिए ये है रियल डेप्थ और मेरे लिए ये है इमेज. तो इन दोनों बीच में डिस्टेंस कितना हो गया भाई? बताओ. इट वुड बी बेसिकली रियल डेप्थ माइनस, राइट? सो दैट वुड बी 0.2 माइनस 0.04. कितना हो गया आंसर? 0.2 डिवाइडेड बाई 0.16 if I'm not wrong. So this would be equal to 0.2. Again mathematics, I hate mathematics. So this would be equal to 1 by 0.08. Hey, not bad. No, this would be 0.1 by 0.08. Huh. Now that's bad. That would be equal to, if I'm not wrong, 10 by 8. है ना? 10 by 8. 10 by 8 is how much? 8 ones are, थप्पा लगा दिया. 2s are 16. 4 बचा 40. 1.25 refractive index. ये लगता है कुछ और पानी है, क्योंकि नॉर्मल वाटर का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स 1.33 के आसपास आता है. वाटर, दिस समथिंग एल्स. This something else, not water. But yeah, 1.25 is the correct answer, people. Good job. If in case you get the answer below 1, make sure that your answer is wrong. You can put it under yourself. You can put a 0 there itself, because refractive index of water can never be, below 1. You know that, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Hey, 1.25 was correct, huh? Nice. I'm not bad at this. Okay, let's go on to the 9th question right away, shall we? Yes. A tuning fork is set into vibrations in air. Name the kind of vibrations it executes. Obviously, natural vibrations at its natural frequency. There is no requirement to think about it. What are the factors affecting the loudness of sound? I think you should give me the factors on the chat right away. What are the factors which affect the loudness of the sound? The amplitude, density of the medium, है ना? The source, right? Energy of from the source. Yes, everyone knows that. Okay. Difference between free and damped vibrations. Free vibration happens at the natural frequency. Damped vibrations happen, not at the natural frequency, basically. In the case of a damped vibration, the energy of the sound or the loudness of the sound keeps on decreasing. In the case of a free vibration, that doesn't happen. So if I'm trying to draw a diagram between, the displacement time graph for free vibration and for a damped vibration, we can see that the amplitude decreases with time. But in the case of the free vibration, that doesn't happen, considering that the air resistance is not there or any other sort of resistance is not there. One more point here, presence of resonant bodies, I also wanted to mention. In the case of what are the factors affecting the loudness of a sound, amplitude is there, density of the medium is there, and also presence of resonant bodies is also there. So by the way, guys, people, all the answers which I'm giving you right now have been put in the format of a PDF, and you can download this entire PDF as well. Okay, you can download this. You can find the descriptions in the link. You can find the link in the description below. क्या हो गया है? पानी पीना पड़ेगा. Okay, people. So again, a very simple question. This comes for 4 marks again. So I just want to tell you guys, relax, take it easy. Easy होगा. Relax करो. ये सारे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर पा रहे हो? सारे ICSE 10 बोर्ड के क्वेश्चन है. ठीक है, chill, relax and give your maximum. Let's go on forward for the question number 10. A very simple question. Which of the radiations alpha, beta and gamma is similar to the beam of electrons? We know the answer for that. Alpha particles is basically helium-24, isn't it? That's alpha particle. So there are no essentially there are no electrons in it. So electron being की तरह क्यों act करेगा वो भाई? Gamma radiations is just energy. Energy में particle ही नहीं है तो भाई ये कैसे electron की तरह act करेगा? Beta particle is mostly an electron or a positron which is closest to the electron beam. So yes, beta particle acts like an electron beam. Sorted. Among the 3 radiations, alpha, beta and gamma, this is the most common question, people. From modern physics, this is the most common question which has come almost every year. This question has come up. So ये तो sure shot में बोल सकता हूँ. Among the 3 radiations, alpha, beta and gamma, which of them have least ionizing power? The least ionizing power is with the gamma radiation. The most ionizing power is with the alpha. So in terms of ionizing power, you'll be having the maximum is alpha, then beta and then gamma. ठीक है, In terms of penetrating power, it would be the exact opposite. In terms of penetrating power, it would be the exact opposite. It would be gamma with the highest, beta and alpha. तो मुझे ना कभी कभी बीटा पे बहुत तरस आता है यार, वो दोनों बार बीच में आ जाता है. Like it's like the middle category. Sad boy. Okay, a very common question again. Let's move on to question number 11. Ooh, that's my favorite question. A charged particle enters at right angle into a medium into a uniform magnetic field as shown. What should be the nature of charge on the particle if it begins to move in a direction pointing vertically out of the page due to its interaction with the magnetic field? Very easy question. So obviously I'm pretty sure you know which formula, which hand rule to apply here. है ना? We need to apply Fleming's right hand rule, isn't it, students? We need to apply Fleming's left hand rule, है ना? Yes, good job. People, well done. People who said yes sir, we need to apply, get very nicely from me. So I was just wondering, I just told this to CBSE 10th standard students also. Here I was just wondering कि Fleming, this was fun. This was fun in my mind. I don't know whether it will be fun for you. For CBSE it was fun. So what I was telling them is Fleming basically utilized both his hands. Fleming's left hand rule, Fleming's right hand rule. What if there were more rules? Let's say Fleming's left leg rule. So imagine you guys standing up in your class and your teacher says Fleming's left leg rule apply करो और इसका निकालो आंसर क्या आएगा. Everyone stands up and they start rotating their left leg. Fleming's right leg rule, okay, yo, right leg. And like, chalo, theek hai. We had 4 rules now. Gone. Now Fleming decides, let's take out one more rule. What else is there to rotate? Well, a lot of things. Head, for say. So everyone is like in the class. Nice. Good exercise, Fleming. Then, again, he is not enough. Now there are 5 rules already, but he wants to take out 6th rule. क्या बचा? कमर बची. The worst part is we get so confused with left hand and right hand rule itself. कि sometimes we take right hand instead of left hand rule and left hand in terms of right hand rule. When you will be having so many rules, wouldn't there be confusion? And the best part would be imagining this in a classroom. Imagine the entire class of 60-50 students, how much ever you are right now in today's date, I don't know. You all are there and your teacher is like, find out the answer for this question. Everyone stands up. One person is using left hand, other person is rotating his hip, other person is rotating his head, one person rotating his leg. So we'll be seeing a lot of things going on around. काफी मजा था. Only for this thing I would have become a school teacher. I would have loved it. सबको यहाँ पे डांस करता हुआ देखिए, बहुत मजा आता. Imagine this happening in the examination hall. ऐसे बोर्ड एग्जामिनेशन दे रहे हो और बच्चे वहां पे कमर हिलावे रे, बहुत मजा आता. Crazy. Coming back to the question, people, we need to apply Fleming's left hand rule here, obviously, because in the entire question there is not even a single word saying induced. So keep this in your mind. If this entire question, if there is a word called as induced in it, then only you need to apply Fleming's right hand rule, because Fleming's right hand rule always talks about the induced current which comes after electromagnetic induction. So I really don't need to apply Fleming's right hand rule here, and obviously they're telling me that I need to find out the current where the magnetic field is present and the object is being pushed vertically out of the page. So force is applied, magnetic field is there, I need to find out the current, है ना? So magnetic field is applied this direction. So this is B. The particle is going downward and it's been stated it's a charged particle. And here I can see very clearly that the force is outward, out of the page. So magnetic field, force, sorted. Magnetic field and force, sorted. Abhi, middle finger will give me the direction of the current. Now, which current's direction does the middle finger give us? The actual current's direction or conventional currents? I would like all of you guys to give me the answer on the chat right away. I'm pretty sure you know the answer. What is the answer, people? Is it the conventional current or is it the actual current? You know the answer, right? Yes, it is the conventional current. So, if the thumb is pointing outward, that is the force's direction out of the page, and the magnetic field is in that direction, naturally, my middle finger is pointing downward. And my middle finger gives it the direction of the conventional current. My particle is going downward also. So that means this middle finger and that particle's motion are in accordance with each other. isn't it? So this must be a positively charged particle because conventional current is constituted by positively charged particles. That's what we assume, है ना? Yes. Now, if in this question, the same question, if in this question was given that the object is pushed inwards or into the page, then the scenario would have been different. The particle is going down and magnetic field in that direction, but my thumb would be into the page, and naturally my middle finger is pointing upward, but the particle is going down. So which particle it should have been? It should have been negatively charged particle. So my conventional current always goes against the negatively charged particles. Negatively charged particles always follow the actual current. So conventional current is in the opposite direction to the actual current. So I would have said it's a negatively charged particle. Okay, so both the scenarios can come up, so be prepared for that. This is a very good question. I really love this question. Okay, moving to the next question right now. Question number 12. Now I'm convinced that this is the last question of section A. Amazing. Okay, let's look into it. A radioactive element. This type of questions are my favorite. ये वो क्वेश्चन जिसमें मेरे को दिमाग लगाना पड़ता है थोड़ा बहुत तो. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दी एसआई यूनिट वाला क्वेश्चन जो पहला क्वेश्चन में आया था जिसमें मैंने गलती कर दी थी ऑटोमेटिकली 10⁵ डाइन सेंटीमीटर स्क्वायर लिख दिया था मैंने. लेंथ का यूनिट मैंने स्क्वायर लिख दिया था इंस्टेड ऑफ एरिया होता तो समझ सकते थे. तो हाँ, उस तरह की बेवकूफी में करता रहता हूँ धीरे धीरे, तो चिंता मत करना बच्चों. तो हाँ, उसमें दिमाग लगाना था, इसमें भी दिमाग लगाना है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम ऑल द क्वेश्चंस, लेट्स राइट इट डाउन. क्या बोल रहा है ये बोल रहा है कि आपके पास एक एलिमेंट है जिसका एलिमेंट का नाम है X. Z एटॉमिक नंबर, A मास नंबर. हाँ, फर्स्ट दिस इज अंडरगोइंग अ बीटा एमिशन. ठीक है, निकालो बीटा एमिशन. बीटा एमिशन में क्या होता है? एटॉमिक नंबर प्लस होता है, Z+1 होता है ना. सो इट्स अंडरगोइंग बीटा, तो बीटा में Z+1 होती है. ए सॉर्टेड. अब क्या होता है? आफ्टर बीटा पार्टिकल एमिशन इट्स गोइंग फॉर अल्फा पार्टिकल एमिशन. ठीक है, अल्फा पार्टिकल में क्या होता है? एटॉमिक इट रिलीजेस एन अल्फा पार्टिकल, है ना. इट रिलीजेस एन अल्फा पार्टिकल, और अल्फा पार्टिकल में 4 होता है मास नंबर और 2 होता है एटॉमिक नंबर. तो ये 4 और 2 इससे माइनस करना पड़ेगा. तो ये हो गया A-4, A में से -4 हो गया. एटॉमिक नंबर Z+1 है, तो Z+1 -2 कितना हो गया? Z-1 हो गया. Z-1 सॉर्टेड. अब क्या है? राइट डाउन द वैल्यूज ऑफ P एंड Q इन टर्म्स ऑफ. तो ये होने के बाद इस चीज को वो कह रहे हैं कि बन जाता है एक Y विच इज Q एंड P. हमें बताना है P और Q की वैल्यू इन टर्म्स ऑफ A एंड Z. तो लिख दिया हमने, P इज इक्वल टू A-4 एंड Q इज इक्वल टू Z-1. सॉर्टेड. Super easy. Easy question, right? Yes, it comes for 2 marks. Look at that, it comes for 2 marks. And these questions are very scoring. I love these kind of questions. Okay, people. So yes, so we have done with 12 questions. We have finished the section A category where they will be they were simple 1 mark questions and not much to think about. Very few questions which were conceptual and where we could put some brains in. तो हमने कर लिया वो सारे क्वेश्चंस. अभी हमारे पास 8 क्वेश्चन और बाकी है. तो अपेरेंटली वी डिड दिस इन 40 मिनट्स. नॉट बैड. हाउ मच टाइम डिड आई टेक? आई टुक 40 मिनट्स. या दैट्स नाइस मैन. 40 मिनट्स में हमने 12 क्वेश्चन कर लिए. तो अब तो उम्मीद बरकरार है कि 1 घंटे या तो 1 hour 15 मिनट्स के अंदर और कुछ नेक्स्ट 40 मिनट्स के अंदर वी विल बी एबल टू कंप्लीट द अदर 8 क्वेश्चन आल्सो. गिव मी हाई फाइव पीपल, गिव मी हाई फाइव. सो एवरीवन ऑसमली वेल डन. एंड पीपल who were able to complete all these questions with me without my help, proud of you. If you were able to do it, amazing. And all these students who were not able to do it without my help but still gave your best efforts, salute to you again. And all those people who didn't put their best efforts and didn't want to do this, bye people. Just kidding. Okay, so I hope all of you guys enjoyed it. People who have been enjoying this session, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, क्योंकि भाई ये आखिरी नहीं है. ये फिजिक्स के लिए हो रहा है, आने वाले सारे एग्जाम्स के लिए भी होगा. तो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट सब्सक्राइब टू द चैनल एंड डू नॉट मिस आउट ऑल दिस मैराथन सेशंस. प्लीज डू दैट. ठीक है. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी हैव ऑल्सो गिवन आउट अ लॉट ऑफ क्विजेस फॉर यू गाइज फॉर बायोलॉजी एंड फिजिक्स. आई होप ऑल ऑफ यू गाइज वेर वॉचिंग दोज सेशंस. अगर देख रहे हो तो अच्छी बात है, देख लेना एक बार. ठीक है. एंड उसके अलावा yes, all the micro courses are available right now. Okay, it's exactly for Ps9. For example, if you have a difficulty in a chapter called as heat, है ना। हीट चैप्टर में आप लोगों को बहुत डिफिकल्टी होती है, तो अगर हीट के आपको सारे के सारे वीडियोस चाहिए, हीट के आपको सारे के सारे क्विजेस चाहिए, हीट के आपको सारे स्ट्रेटेजीज चाहिए, ₹9, just ₹9 for everything. And it's not only for physics, for biology, chemistry, mathematics, SST, every single thing out there for ICC. Don't miss it out. To get the link for this, to check out where should I go to get all this, just have to go on to vdnt.in/YT micro. That's the link. Now many of you people have complained me कि sir this link doesn't work because बेटा ये case sensitive है. vdnt.in should be in small and YT micro should be in capital letters. ठीक है, तो go on to this particular link and check out all the micro courses available. And for physics there are 10 11 chapters. So 11 9 99 the entire physics comes up. You can do the same thing for biology, है ना। चलो ठीक है, रेस्ट डन सर, रेस्ट हो गया सर, आगे बढ़ते हैं सर। 8 क्वेश्चन और मुझाते हैं, ठीक है। चलो 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 चलो, सेक्शन बी, पहला क्वेश्चन ये रहा आपके सामने। A car is moving on a level road and gets its velocity doubled. In this process, okay, first of all, diagram is pretty important for this क्योंकि I would be able to show my drawing skills to you. Oh yeah, that's like a James Bond car, bro. Okay, a car is moving on a leveled road. Damn, good, well done, Abhishek. Leveled road and gets its velocity doubled. पहले V था, अब 2V हो गया। पहले विजय था, अब 2 विजय हो गया। Lame. Okay, how would the potential energy of the car change? It doesn't, because potential energy is independent of velocity, because potential energy is mgh. It's independent of velocity, so potential energy does not change. It is constant, isn't it? How would the kinetic energy of the car change? That's a good question. Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. So if they say that the velocity is doubled, that would be half m2v square. So that would give us k is equal to 4 half mv square. Now this half mv square is this k, isn't it? So I can say that the new kinetic energy, it's 4 times the old kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy quadruples 4 times, increases 4 times. How will its momentum change? Again, so if the initial momentum was p is equal to mv, mass into velocity, the momentum's formula. If now the new momentum is basically mass into 2v, what happens? New momentum is 2mv, that is essentially 2p, double of the initial momentum. है ना? Simple logical questions here, very easy one. I would not put my much brains here. Very easy one, straightforward, formula based, है ना? Formula याद होगा तो easily हो जाएगा. So that this question is essentially testing you whether you know the formula potential energy, kinetic energy and momentum or not. That's all. ठीक है? हाँ, next one. Very easy one. We can do this question. I think I'm pretty sure we can do this question without even touching the mathematics part. We can easily do this question without doing it mathematically. You want to see how? I've showed this to my CBSE students. I'm pretty sure you will also love this. They love it. They kill this up. So I'm pretty sure you would be able to, you would be, connecting with the same way how CBSE does this for this kind of questions. So here in this question, let's draw a diagram. And you will see how beautifully we get the answer by just the diagram. Anyways, you'll be drawing the diagram for this because it's a 3 marks question. 1 mark तो भाई diagram के लिए जाएगा, है ना? तो diagram बनाओ मेरे साथ अभी. A 6 centimeter tall object, blah 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 blah, is placed blah 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 of a convex lens. That's more important. So there is a convex lens, optical center, है ना? You have your f1, 2f1, f2 and 2f2. ठीक है? Next part, once you draw the convex lens, once you draw the length, whichever it is, find out the focal length. 25 centimeter. ठीक है? So if this is 25, my brilliant IC students, if this is 25, tell me how much should be 2f2 and 2f1? I'm pretty sure you know the answer. Double of this. So yes, it should be at 50. Superb. 50. Sorted. Next is object distance. Focal length set कर दिया, lens बना दिया, अब object distance निकालो. 40. The distance of the object from the lens is 40. Now my brilliant ICC students, think and tell me the object is at 40 centimeter. 40 centimeter falls between 25 and 50 ना? 25 और 50 नंबर के बीच में 40 आती है, यानी कि your object is kept between f1 and 2f1. Somewhere here. The object is kept between f1 and 2f1. Sorted. Do I need to do anything extra apart from this? Do I need to? You know it, right? When the object is kept between f1 and 2f1, where should be the image formed? where should the image formed? The image must be formed beyond 2f2, है ना? The image must be formed beyond 2f2, यहां पे, isn't it? Isn't it, people? Very easy question. Very easy question. Beyond 2f2. Now, do you like? It's pretty easy now, right? Because now you know that your value of V should be greater than 50 centimeter. Because it's formed beyond 2f2, and since this is formed on the right hand side of the lens, I'm pretty sure you understand that the image distance would be positive according to the sign convention. Next part, the size of the image formed. The size of the image in this scenario, you are pretty sure that when the image is formed beyond 2f2, the image is magnified. Hence, your image height should be greater than the height of the object, which is 6 centimeter. Your magnification value should be greater than 1, and your magnification should be negative because it's a real image. So your h dash should also be negative because it's a real and inverted image. All these things I know by just drawing this diagram. So I literally got the answer. When I'll be going ahead and doing it mathematically, I would know this is how my answer should come up. Superbly easy. So guys, whenever a convex lens related question come in, or concave lens related question come in, diagram banao. Super. Okay. Okay. So shall we do it right now? So let's do it mathematically now. Think about the confidence you will have in your board examinations once you know already the answer. Shall we? 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. क्या निकालना है? v निकालना है भाई. 1 by f plus 1 by u. Focal length is 25. तो 1 by 25 positive because convex lens. Plus u negative minus 40. Na 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 na. 5 5s are 5 3s are. So I've got the answer as v is equal to minus 200 by 3, which I'm pretty sure is greater than 50. Minus 200 by 3 must be 66.7 centimeter, and it should be positive, not negative. Yes, positive 66.7, which is greater than 50, which is positive. My answer is correct. I need to find out h dash now. That's again very easy. H dash by h is equal to v upon u. So essentially h dash is equal to v by u into h. V is, I've got it. I'll not take 66.7. What I take is 200 by 3. That is easy for me to calculation. 200 by 3 and u is minus 40. See how easily 40 and 200 cuts off. 5, na? Kitna easily. Into h is how much? 6. Look at this. 3 1s are 3 2s are. So my answer comes out to be 10 centimeter, which is negative because negative of object distance. See that? Minus 10 centimeter. So my answer is negative, correct? My answer is greater than 6, correct. One more thing which we understood is key, do not take the 66.7 centimeter right there because, buddy, why to complicate? It's already in a fraction and now you're taking decimal also. Take this value. No one is going to cut your marks. Here you need to give the answer perfectly in points, but for further calculations, you don't need to take this. You can take 200 by 3 also so that the calculations are easier. How easy it was. 40, 200 cut gaya, 3, 3 cut gaya, khatam. Right? So a very easy question to start with, people. It was a very easy question. Question number 14 it was. I hope you guys got it. Moving to question number 15. Superbly easy question. A diagram based question which I tell every single time कि superbly important. हर बार मैं ये कहता हूँ कि diagram based questions बहुत ज़्यादा आते हैं ICC में. तो इस बार भी आएगा. देख लो. When does a ray of light falling on a lens pass through it undeviated? When बताओ. पता कब होता है? जल्दी बताओ बच्चों कब होता है कि एक लाइट रे जो निकल जाए अनडिविएटेड through a lens. Yes. When the light ray passes through the Burj Khalifa. Passes through the? No? It passes through the? Yes. Optical center. Bilkul. Very good, people. When the light passes through the optical center, it eventually passes through the lens undeviated. Not really, but looks like. Yeah. Copy and complete the ray diagram to show the formation of the image of the object PQ. Name the lens L del dash. अच्छा ये हमारा ऑब्जेक्ट है. ऑब्जेक्ट से देखो लाइट रे गई और लेंस से लग के डाइवर्ज हो गई. तो ये कौन सा लेंस हुआ? डाइवर्जिंग लेंस हुआ. तो डाइवर्जिंग लेंस कौन सा होता है? कॉनकेव लेंस. नेम द लेंस डाइवर्जिंग लेंस कॉनकेव. डन. व्हाट इज द नेम गिवन टू एक्स? एक्स क्या है भाई? ओ ये एक्स. It's called as focus. प्रिंसिपल फोकस ऑफ द कॉन्केव लेंस, है ना ना। डायग्राम कंप्लीट करें उसको, इमेज बना दे, यहां से ऑप्टिकल सेंटर से एक और पॉइंट निकाल दो, बन गया इमेज, है ना। इसका एक्चुअल डायग्राम देख लेते हैं। बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन था ना ये, बहुत ज्यादा इजी क्वेश्चन था, राइट। एक्स रिप्रेजेंट्स द प्रिंसिपल फोकस, वो भी कर लिया हमने, है ना। बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन, 3 मार्क्स ले तो लड्डू है ये, काफी ज्यादा लड्डू है। Okay, question number 16. One of my favorite type of questions. Question number 16 right now here. A man stands in between cliffs and explodes a cracker. I want to see the diagram. Do we have a diagram for this? Oh, yes. Now we have taken a gun here, not a cracker, but yeah. So there is a man, in between two cliffs. From one cliff it is at a distance of D1. From another cliff he is at a distance of D2. And essentially, after he shoots the gun, or after he burns the cracker up, he hears 2 echoes. One echo after 3 seconds and one echo after 5 seconds. Obviously, one echo will be coming from the nearer cliff and the other echo after 5 seconds will be coming from this cliff, है ना। तो if I just find out this, look at this. तो basically यहां से वापस आने के लिए 3 सेकेंड। What is echo? Echo is reflection of sound. So sound goes from the man hits the cliff and comes back in 3 seconds. From here to here, it takes 5 seconds for the sound. The speed of the sound in both the directions is given as 340 meter per second because in both the directions it's only air. ऐसा नहीं है कि क्लिफ के बीच में यहां तक पानी है वहां से एयर, ऐसा नहीं है, दोनों तरफ सेम एयर ही है भाई। तो 340 मीटर पर सेकंड है, ठीक है, स्पीड। तो हमें पता करना है कि ये क्लिफ के बीच में डिस्टेंस कितना है। वी नीड टू फाइंड आउट व्हाट इज द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन दीज टू क्लिफ्स। So if we assume the distance between the nearer cliff is D1 from the man, and from the man here it is D2. So if I add D1 and D2, I can find out the total distance. Isn't it? I can find out the total distance. That's all. So let's go ahead and find it out. D1 निकालते हैं। कैसे निकाले? एको का फॉर्मूला में पता है? एको का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है भाई? एको का फॉर्मूला होता है V is equal to 2D by T. V is equal to 2D by T. Now students ask me every time, sir, when should we take this 2? If you're considering the entire journey, take 2. Why? Tell me what T value will take for D1 here. For finding out D1, which time value will you take? You will take 3 seconds, and 3 seconds is the total time of the sound. It's not the time to go from here to here, no, it is the total time. So you should take 3 seconds. And if you're taking total time, you're taking total distance also. What is the total distance? जाने का भी, आने का भी, जाते वक्त D, आते वक्त D, 2D. So whenever you take total time, take total distance as well. So let's find out D1. D1 would be equal to V into T1 divided by 2. Velocity है 340, T1 है 3 और ये है 2, 2, 1, 170, 17, 3 is 51, तो 510 है ना, 17 is 51, 34, 51 है ना, तो 510 मीटर हो गया D1। ना 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 ना। अब दूसरा बात, V is equal to 2D by 2 निकालो। So D2 would be equal to V is 340, time 2 is again 5 seconds, और 2 हो गया तो again 170 into 5 हो गया। ये कितना हो जाता है? 7 5 30, 0 डालते हैं, 7 5 35, 3 कैरी, 5 1 5 3, 850 मीटर्स आ गया D2 भी। अब दोनों को ऐड करो, 850, 800 और 500 हो गए 1300, 1360 मीटर, 1360 मीटर्स। Just adding D1 and D2 was easy, right? Yep, it is easy. So I hope this confusion ki when to take 2D by T is clear. I hope you have that. So let's check whether the answer is correct or not. Yes, it's 1360 meters. Yes. So yeah, we are almost nearing 1 hour. I think we have done a lot of questions. Oh, we are coming up with 1 hour, just 5 more minutes left in, I think. And we have done basically 16 questions, people. Oh my God, 16 questions in an hour is too much. Give me a high five. Well done. Thank you so much for your patience, people. I hope this entire session is helping you guys a lot. And if you think it is helping, hit that like button right now. I'll give you a question as a homework at the end. The 20th question would be a homework for you. Do not miss that out. Okay. Let's move on to question number 17. Again, a very, very simple and an easy question. This is again a diagram based question. I think so. Let's look into it. 3 resistors, 3 ohm, 1.5 ohm and 1 ohm are connected in parallel. Let's go step by step. These 3 connected in parallel. Let's connect them in parallel right now. ठीक है, तो 3 ohm, 1.5 and 1 ohm, they are connected in parallel. ठीक है, 3, 1.5 ohm, 1 ohm. ठीक है, अब आगे the combination of the above resistors is connected in series to a resistance of 8.5 ohm. ठीक है, दिस कॉम्बिनेशन इज कनेक्टेड इन सीरीज टू अ रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ 8.5 ohms. ठीक है, and then to a battery of EMF of 4.5 volt. ठीक है, then this entire thing is connected to a battery which has a EMF of 8.5 volts. Positive, negative. Sorted? ठीक है, अब निकालो. If the internal resistance of the cell is negligible, there is no internal resistance, so no need to consider the small r here. Draw the circuit diagram. बना दिया बना दिया ब्रो ने. करंट का डायरेक्शन दे देना वरना पूरा मार्क नहीं मिलेगा. So let's draw the current direction also so that you get full marks. It will always show conventional current in the circuit diagrams always. So current comes from the positive side because it's conventional current. Goes here, divides into multiple things, again combines to give you single I again, and it comes back to the battery. Now your circuit is complete. ठीक है, now let's see. Calculate the current in the main circuit. You need to find out the current in the main circuit, that is basically the total current. You need to find out the total current of the circuit. So total current formula क्या होता है? Simple again. Ohms law apply करेंगे. Total current IT will be equal to Ohms law. V is equal to IR, so I is equal to V by R. V total upon R total. अब भाई V total तो पता है आपको दिया हुआ है 8.5 वोल्ट. आपका 4.5 है. Oh, I'm pretty sure you must be putting in the chat already ना यार. 4.5 सर 8.5 लिख दिया, पता है मैंने लिख दिया होगा. 4.5 वोल्ट है, तो 4.5 वोल्ट. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर लेटिंग मी नो पीपल. डिवाइड बाय R टोटल निकालना है. निकालो R टोटल रेजिस्टेंस निकालो इसका. ये तीनों पैरेलल में है तो पैरेलल फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करो. क्या होता है 1/3 प्लस 1/1.5. तो 1.5 के बदले मैं इसको लेता हूँ 3/2. तो 3 नीचे रहेगा, 2 ऊपर चल जाएगा. 3/2/2 ऊपर चला गया ना, प्लस 1 है इज इक्वल टू 1/RP. तो कितना होगा, करो सॉल्व करो. मेरे को नहीं आता एलसीएम निकालना, आप लोगों को निकालना है. मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ पे आएगा 3 if I'm not wrong. पता नहीं मेरे को, ये तरीका नहीं पता मेरे को एलसीएम निकालने का. मैं क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करता हूँ तो मैं ये ट्राई करके देखता हूँ. I usually do cross multiplication. Here I'm going to try out the actual method of finding LCM. Let's see whether I get it right or not. 3 है तो एक बार जाएगा. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 1/RP. I'm not sure it's right or not. Do not judge me on this. If this comes out to be wrong, then I'll do the cross multiplication way. ठीक है? Okay, let's now reciprocate. So RP would be equal to 3 plus 2 5 plus 6 6 divided by 3. Oh, I'm so sure it is wrong. 2 ohms. Is that even right? Oh, 1 second. It should be 3/6 ना. 6/3 आएगा. हाँ, 3/6. 3/6 equal to. Hey, that's right. 0.5 ohms. Me doing LCM without cross multiplication is the first time I'm doing it on YouTube. Oh, I finally got something in mathematics to find out the LCM. Nice. 0.5 ohms people. ठीक है. Now we have got this parallel connection 0.5 ohms. We already got this. Now we need to add this with the series one. So 8.5 plus 0.5 is 9 ohms essentially. So I've got the R total as 9. So your answer comes out to 4.5 by 9 is basically 1/2. So your current is 0.5 amperes. 4 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन भाई, 4 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन. 1 मार्क मिलेगा आपको सर्किट बनाने के लिए. यस, और आपको मिलेगा 2 मार्क्स रेजिस्टेंस निकालने के लिए और 1 मार्क मिलेगा करंट निकालने के लिए. 4 मार्क. ठीक है. Okay, I hope you guys got it. I hope that this answer is correct also. If I'm not wrong, yes, 0.5 amperes and 0.5 ohms. Yes, awesome. So proud of myself. Suddenly so proud of myself. Good job. Finally, I found out the LCM by the actual LCM method. Thanks to a few people. Let's move on to the 18th question. People, we are just have 2 more questions. 20th will be homework for you. I would like all of you to give me the answer for the homework in the comment section. We are just there with 2 more questions, that's all. कर ले. ये भी काफी अच्छा लग रहा है क्वेश्चन देखने में, तो चलो देखते हैं. Okay, 4 cells each of EMF 2 volt and internal resistance of 0.1 ohm are connected in series. Step by step. Question is pretty big, so let's read step by step. Let's draw the diagram step by step. 4 cells each of EMF 2 volt. अच्छा ठीक है, चलो बैटरी तो हमेशा हम नीचे लगाते हैं तो नीचे लगा देते हैं. 4 cells, 1 2 3 4, 4 cells each of 2 volt. So total EMF कितना हुआ? 2 into 4 8 volts ना. Each of EMF 2 volts, so total thing is 8 volts, correct? And internal resistance 0.1 ohm connected in series. तो अगर एक का रेजिस्टेंस 0.1 है तो टोटल इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस कितना हो गया 0.1 इंटू 4 0.4 ओम्स है ना. टोटल छोटू आर इज 0.4 ओम्स. 1 + 1 + 1 का 0.1 + 0.1. ठीक है. The combination is connected in series to an ammeter of negligible resistance. ठीक है. It is connected to an ammeter. Sign of ammeter very important. This is positive, this is negative. Ammeters positive should be connected to the positive of the battery. Ammeters negative should be connected to the negative of the battery. Very important people, very important. Next, a 0.16 ohm resistor and an unknown resistor R1. ठीक है. So a 0.16 ohm resistor and an unknown resistor R1. Okay, that's all. Yes. ठीक है. And then it stated that the current in the circuit is 2 amperes. ठीक है. The current in the circuit is 2 amperes. So यहाँ से जो करंट निकला वो था 2 एम्पियर का. ठीक है. वो था 2 एम्पियर का. ठीक है. Sorted. अब आगे देखो. Draw label circuit diagram for the above arrangement and calculate. We have found out the arrangement. ठीक है. I think the first answer we already done. Total EMF is 8 volt. That is the total EMF. 2 into 4 cells, so it's 8 volts. The total resistance in the circuit. Okay, we need to find out the total resistance in the circuit. How shall we do that? Total resistance. Okay, how can we find out total resistance? We know that V total is equal to I total into R total. Total EMF I know, total current I know. I can find a total resistance, right? I can easily find it out. Yeah? Okay, let's find it out. So, okay, R total would be equal to V total upon I total. V total is given 8 volts. I total is 2, so 2 amperes. So answer would be 4 ohms, right? 8 by 2, 4 ohms. That is my total resistance. So I've got the answer. Next part, third part. The potential difference across R1 alone. What is the potential difference across R1? So let's say the potential difference across R1, I'll call it as VR1. I'll just call it as VR1. That would be equal to the current passing through R1 and the resistance R1. Since this is a series connection, the total current is equal to the current passing through all the resistors. We know that. Series connection, current remains constant. VR1 निकालना है. लेकिन VR1 निकालने के लिए IR1 पता है, लेकिन R1 नहीं पता. तो वी नीड टू फाइंड R1 ऑल्सो. कैसे निकालेंगे? सिंपल है भाई. देखो इसमें टोटल रेजिस्टेंस कितना है? इस पूरे सर्किट में टोटल रेजिस्टेंस कितना है? 0.16 ओम है, 0.4 ओम है और ये R1 है. मेरे को टोटल रेजिस्टेंस पता भी है तो मैं R1 निकाल सकता हूं. बिल्कुल. कैसे? देखो पता ही हमें. कैसे निकालोगे? टोटल रेजिस्टेंस RT इज इक्वल टू 0.16 प्लस R1 प्लस ये इंटरनल रेजिस्टेंस 0.4 है ना. तब तो ये टोटल रेजिस्टेंस मिलेगा. तो ये दोनों पता है, ये निकालना है. ये भी पता है मुझे. टोटल कितना है? 4. तो 4 माइनस 0.16 माइनस 0.4 इज इक्वल टू R1. कितना हो गया? 0.16 माइनस 0.4 0.4 है 0.04 होगा. एक मिनट को 0.1 है ना. हाँ 0.4 करेक्ट. तो 0.16 माइनस 0.4 शुड बी 0. ओके R1 would be equal to okay 0.20 no 0.16 0.40 6 5 0.56. तो 4 minus 0.56. okay 4.00 0.56. That would come to be 10 minus 6 4, 9 minus 5 4.3.44. R1 comes out to be 3.44 ohms if I'm not wrong, right? If I'm not wrong, that's how the R1 comes out to 3.44 ohms. So 3.44 आ गया. अब निकालना मेरे को है VR1. चलो निकालो. I है 2 amperes और R1 है 3.44 ohms. तो आपको आंसर आ जाएगा कितना? इसका डबल कर दो. 4 2 8 4 2 8 एक मिनट 2 into 3.4 4 2 8 4 2 8 point 3 2 6 6.88 volts potential. Sorted? ठीक है? Clear? Okay. So one thing which I'm just thinking कि am I need to include that internal resistance or not? That's what I'm thinking about. Oh, 1 second. I'm getting this as 2. One thing people, you don't have to basically, I think there's a small correction. आई एम नॉट श्योर whether this is 0.1 or 0.01. Am I right here? 0. Current in main circuit is total EMF by total resistance. Total EMF was 8 divided by 2 plus R1. R1 is 4 by 2, 2 ohms. We got 3.44, right? Okay. Oh, here they're taken 1.6. That we have taken 0.16. Okay. Okay. Then our answer is correct, people. Our answer is correct. Here in the solution, it is taken. The resistance in the circuit is 1.6, but it's actually 0.16. It's not 1.6. So the solution there, it's a bit wrong. We have done the correct answer. तो 3.44 correct answer है. ठीक है. वो 0.16 यहाँ पे हमने लिया हुआ है, वहाँ पे 1.6 लिखा हुआ है. तो वो difference है. तो हमने सही किया. Thank God. हमेशा गलती करूँगा मैथ्स में. अच्छा नहीं लगता. Okay. So yeah, you need to include the internal resistance. Very important. Okay. Now moving on to the last question for today, a very interesting and very easy question, superbly easy question. Let's look into it. Again, a mathematical question, so difficult for me but easy for you. How can a temperature in degrees Celsius be converted into SI unit of temperature? SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. You just need to add 273.16 degrees Celsius, isn't it? 273.16 Kelvin, if you add it up, it becomes degrees, you add it up, it becomes into Kelvin. Okay. Now, define the specific latent heat of melting. Specific latent heat of melting. The amount of heat absorbed by any material or when it is converting from solid to liquid state during that change in phase per kilogram is said as specific latent heat of melting for that particular object. We know that latent heat सबका definition same होता है, बस वो सामने वाले भाग पे ध्यान देना है कि क्या है, वेपराइजेशन है, मेल्टिंग है, सब जो भी होगा उस पर ध्यान देना है हमें, है ना. तो मेल्टिंग है तो सॉलिड से लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट हो रहा है, बस ठीक है. अब आगे 8,000 joule of heat is given to 200 gram of copper at 20 degrees Celsius. What is the final temperature if the specific heat capacity of copper is 0.4 joules per gram per degree Celsius? यहाँ पे ये joules में है, ये ग्राम पे है और ये डिग्री सेल्सियस है. यहाँ पे ये भी जूल है, ग्राम में डिग्री सेल्सियस. So no need to convert any units. That is very important thing which we should focus first in any kind of heat related questions. अगर यहाँ पे केल्विन में दिया होता तो मेरा पहला काम होता कि इसमें केल्विन में कन्वर्ट करूं. अगर ये ग्राम केजी में दिया होता तो मेरा पहला काम होता कि उसको मैं केजी में कन्वर्ट करूं या तो इसको ग्राम में कन्वर्ट करूं. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पीपल, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, चेक इट आउट. ठीक है. सो द फॉर्मूला ऑफ हीट, आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यू नो दैट इट्स इक्वल टू mc डेल्टा टी. हमें निकालना है कि व्हाट इज द फाइनल टेम्परेचर. तो वी ऑल नो डेल्टा टी इज नथिंग बट ये क्या हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है what is the final 200 gram copper is heated na, so final temperature will be more, so it would be T2 minus T1, right? Okay, so delta T is equal to Q divided by MC, right? So delta T would be equal to, what is Q? Q is given as 8,000 divided by what is M? 200 into 0.4, sorted. ठीक है, 0 0 कट गया, 0 0 कट गया, 2 1s are 2, 40s are, so 0.4 100 times is delta T, correct? So delta T I've got it as 100 Kelvin, sorry, degree Celsius, sorry. Okay, now delta T में T2 minus T1 है, T2 minus T1 is equal to 100 degree Celsius. Heat is given to 200 gram. Okay, temperature is 20, so T2 would be equal to 100 plus 20, so the final temperature is becoming as 120 degree Celsius. If the object is getting heated up, obviously इसका temperature बढ़ेगा, तो 100 से वो 120 degree Celsius हो चुका है. Easy? Yep, superbly easy question. Let's check whether this answer is correct or not. You just have to remember this formula, Q is equal to MC delta T. That's all people, that's all. तो एक बार देख लेते हैं कि आंसर राइट आया. हाँ यार, आंसर बिल्कुल सही है, 120 degree Celsius right there. So my dear IC students, I hope that all of you guys enjoyed this particular session and we were able to do this in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Not bad at all. 1 hour 10 minutes and 20 questions, out of which 19 I did and 1 question, the 20th one is homework for all of you guys. I hope all of you guys enjoyed this. I really hope. If in case you enjoyed this, hit that like button. In every CBSE sessions we cross 1k likes within the session itself. Are we going to cross 1k likes for this SSC also? Are we? Come on people. Okay, 20th question is this. I would really wish all of you guys to try it out. It's a very good question from heat chapter. Would give you guys a hint. There are 3 steps here to do this. 1, when the ice converts to 0, 0 में change of state, and then वहाँ से water. सोच लेना एक बार, ठीक है. या तो उल्टा भी हो सकता है, वाटर से आइस, चेंज ऑफ स्टेट, एंड देन वहां से आइस -10 तक. देख लो, ठीक है? Okay people, so with that, again reminding you guys about the micro course. It's still not late for other subjects, so do about that. So with that, my dear students, I hope all you guys enjoyed this session, and I hope for every one of you guys in ICSE the exams are going pretty well. तो बच्चों बस जाने से पहले बस इतना कहना चाहूंगा कि do not lose hope, and please not think about how did your exams go, how did your previous exams go. If it has gone well, try not to be overconfident. If it has gone bad, try not to be depressed about it. Please make sure that you are focused, dedicated, determined for all the upcoming examinations. बस अपने आप पे फोकस करो और अपने आगे वाले एग्जाम्स फोकस करो, बाकी कोई और चीज़ हमारे दिमाग में नहीं आनी चाहिए, ठीक है बच्चों? तो do not lose hopes, do not be scared, do not be overconfident also. Just make sure that you're giving your best, because I trust on you guys a lot and you will be able to do it, ठीक है? With that, I'll end today's session. Do not forget to hit that like button, and do not forget to subscribe. Until we meet the next time, people, this is Abhishek signing off. Bye bye. Take care. Enjoy.